how do you actually drive registrations, and what is an email that performs? What are those tactics to get those good metrics in terms of open rate and registration that we're all looking for? Cody, I'm going to hand that over to you, the email expert.
So the main thing I would start with is my number one rule is context over content. So what I mean is, before you start trying to personalize content, figure out, do I have the right audience segmented, and can I actually engage them in the way that I want to? That's the kind of the foundation. And I brought a fun little graphic here too. And I'd love audience members, if you could tell me in the chat, these are two broadcast email, two newsletter style emails that we sent out for our June 6th webinar. One of them is persona targeted. So one of them is targeted to lifecycle marketers, which is our key persona. It's a webinar about lifecycle marketing. And the other one is more of a generic segmentation just to anybody who downloaded any of our content. So I'd love to hear from you in the chat. Do you think email A is the persona-based one, or do you think email B is the persona-based one? See if anyone has any thoughts for a quick moment.
Okay, A seems to be the winner. There's no question.
I tried to be sneaky, but it wasn't too sneaky. Yeah, 100% right. Email A was the persona-based one. And I think this was a fun test. I think this is our hypothesis, but it's great to see it in action too. And as you can see there on the far right, the thing that we were looking at is we were counting conversions as, do these people sign up for the webinar after we send the email within a day or two? So you can see the persona-based email performed at a 7.5% conversion rate, and the email to all our content leads, which is pretty similar content-wise, was the 1.2% conversion rate. And much higher click rate on the persona-based one as well for folks who didn't quite register. But yeah, that's kind of the first thing that I wanted to highlight, was just get the right audience. And actually, I have one more piece to that I was going to show on the graphic. We didn't always have, like, for example, on this segmentation, we use job title to kind of segment those people if they're a lifecycle marketer. But if you're in the audience and you're like, oh, that would be great if I had that data, you can kind of hack it. So this is a segment that we built that kind of guesses if someone's a lifecycle marketer. So as you can see, the top part of that segment, customer IO, is, does their title contain lifecycle, CRM, or email? But then at the bottom parts of that segment, we said, or we'll consider them a lifecycle marketer if they have gone to one of our lifecycle marketing webinars, or if they've downloaded one of our specific lifecycle marketing guides. So we can kind of lump that person in, as we're guessing they're kind of under that same persona.
Adapt to the type of content. I'm just going to push this question live that is really linked to what you're talking about. What attributes do you use for the persona-based email?
Well, yeah, as I was showing, we've done it a few different ways.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, job titles are great. Sometimes also, though, I think we've all maybe been in where we were a marketing generalist, and maybe your job title doesn't exactly show what you do. So I would play with a mix of job title specific, but then also what they're doing. I guess imagine like a product manager is downloading all of your lifecycle marketing forms and going to all your lifecycle marketing webinars. I think you're probably safe to say that person fits that kind of mold of somebody who's managing the customer journey. And obviously, I'm applying this to Customer IO's ICP, our audience, but whatever your audience is in the crowd too.
Yeah, we do the same in terms of personas. We more or less base it on use case. And we determine this either through forms and surveys that we have in the product. And so this is only for your users, obviously, and for your customers, you'll know that. But for anyone that's a lead, we actually tag them based on the type of content that they download. So is it more meetings use case? Is it more marketing webinars? Is it like customer onboarding? And we'll sort of put them in different buckets based on that. So leverage the data that you have and that you can actually access. Coming back to segmentation, I use the personas based on the type of content, but we also use data such as tech stack that maybe our growth manager is able to pull and scrap. So if you have a specific webinar based on, look, we have this cool integration, it's gonna help you, targeting the people based on that specific integration, you're going to get great results versus a much wider target. Anything else we wanted to add on this topic?
Catherine, do you want to chime in on this at all?
I think the only thing I would add to that is it's definitely right audience, but it's also timing. So we have experimented through Customer.io different times and dates to send these email campaigns. And then we got into a really good cadence, which was working for us. And we were seeing amazing results in the click-through rate, open rate, and conversion, chef's kiss. And then at times you could see that our audience was actually getting tired of either the subject line, the call to action. So what I would really say is keep it fresh, keep it interesting, keep the content exciting. I know that's a lot easier said than done, but on the flip side, when you are sending out, if you're hosting a lot of these virtual events, you just want to avoid spamming your audience as much as possible because it really affects these events negatively. So yeah, that's the only other thing I would call out there.
But I think that's why segmenting is also really important, because they won't, if you segment well, they won't be receiving all the emails and all of the types of content, and you can sort of skip one each time.
Yeah, and I think when I first started hosting these at ChartMogul, I work with a growth marketer, and I would say to him, okay, we have this event coming up. I want the biggest audience. I want to get this in front of as many eyeballs as possible. And again, fortunately, we have quite a large audience with ChartMogul. We're nearly 10 years in business. And he was like, Catherine, you're insane. Like, what's the point in that? Like, I have 80,000 contacts, but if we spam them, we're just going to completely destroy, our relationship with them. And then I quickly realized, okay, let's take a step back. We do not want to be sending a RevOps leader panel around funding. So yeah, that's something that I've learned on this journey, is that, sometimes less is more.
Yeah. And you'll have more quantitative people also that actually convert later. So targeting is definitely going to be key. We had a question from Disha. What are the best channels to promote webinars for top funnel? Obviously, email is very high, but I know it means you're not acquiring new leads. What do you guys do apart from email? But I think it is the most performing usually.
Yeah, I think I forgot to share this one earlier, but this is our breakdown of webinar registrations by channel or by medium. So as you can see, email is huge. The other one I wanted to call out is we did find some success using in-app messages. Obviously, this was more on the customers and current users. So if you are doing webinars for that group, we found it really great. Like if we're doing a webinar on a certain feature, when somebody clicks into that feature area in your product, popping up a little in-app that says, hey, we're going to walk through this next Friday, has been a good driver for us. Again, to your point, Pauline, not always like a net new person that you're sharing it with. So I think we relied on paid ads a lot at the start to help build up some of the leads lists. It got expensive really fast. So I think we've kind of...
Same here.
Yeah. We've built our leads list in like other things like surveys and like sponsored newsletters and things. And then we kind of move them to webinars through email as the next step.
Yeah, email is definitely going to be the biggest channel and usually the most performing for us, at least. And on top of that, where I will get a little bit of lead generation is going to be social, is going to work. It's going to be small, but it's still going to drive a little bit. Then we're going to have anything that's linked on the website. So it's really converting that website traffic. And if they're not ready to see a demo, they're not ready to, have a chat with a sales or sign up, they can attend a webinar. And so having those webinars on chat pop up on relevant pages, so maybe a customer story, maybe content or blog posts that are linked to this specific content, that's going to work. Also having a banner on your homepage, small little banner that you can switch around a little bit, works quite well.
Definitely +1 to all of that. Other kind of methods we've tried and that have helped has been setting up a LinkedIn event. So it doesn't necessarily mean hosting it there, but just having that event link. What's beautiful about LinkedIn is they'll do a lot of promotion for you, and it's really easy to set up, and it's a kind of a quick win. Another thing that we've actually experimented with, and again, TBD on the results on this, but our head of sales has been doing a lot of presentations as of late. so these in-person field events. So we make sure to always have a call to action to the next virtual event. That might not mean a conversion of an actual registrant, but it's also a way to just say, these are the other things that we're at. These are the other things that are happening at ChartMogul. And if anything, it's just a nice conversation starter post her session or something like that. So that's something else that's worked quite well.
Yeah. Just to jump back onto those LinkedIn events, if you use Zapier or Make or whatever automation tool, you can actually connect, and this is what I do each time, connect it with your Livestorm event. So you create your LinkedIn event, you use the LinkedIn forms, and then with the automation tool, you actually get the people who sign up to the LinkedIn event in your dashboard. So they receive the reminder emails, they receive their personal link to connection, and there's a more chance of them actually attending rather than just being in that LinkedIn event and never seeing the live.